to increase his and the East India Trading Company's power in the Caribbean. Lord Cutler, Becket, Tom Hollander, executes anyone, including women and children, suspected of or remotely associated with piracy. Becket, who now possesses Davy Jones's heart, orders Jones Bill Nighy to destroy all pirate ships. Condemned prisoners defiantly sing a song to summon the 9 pirate lords, comprising the 4th Brethren Court to convene at Shipwreck Cove and take action against Becket. However, Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, pirate, Lord of the Caribbean, never appointed his successor, and therefore must attend. Captain Barbassa, Geoffrey Rush Leeds, will Orlando Bloom, Elizabeth Keira Knightley, Tia Dolma, Naomi Harris, and Black Pearl crewmen to rescue Jack. Sao Feng Chow Yunfat, pirate lord of the South China Sea and residing in Singapore, possesses a map to World's End, the gateway to Davy Jones' locker, where Jack is eternally imprisoned. Elizabeth and Barbassa bargain with Feng for the map and a ship, but Feng is furious that will already attempted to steal it. The British Royal Navy, led by Mercer David Schofield, acting under orders from Becket, make a surprise attack on Feng's bathhouse. During the ensuing chaos, Will strikes a bargain with Feng for the Black Pearl in exchange for Sparrow, who Feng wants to turn over to Becket, presumably for immunity from Davy Jones' attacks on pirates. Will wants the Black Pearl to rescue his father from the Flying Dutchman. The crew journey through a frozen sea and sail over an enormous waterfall into the locker. Sparrow, trapped aboard the Pearl, constantly hallucinates about an entire crew comprising himself, each representing a different facet of his character. When the Pearl is mysteriously carried to an ocean shore by crab-like creatures, presumably sent by Tia Dolma, since she is seen stroking a crab as the ship moves, Jack is reunited with his old shipmates. He is initially reluctant to rejoin a crew, which includes the 4 people who once attempted to kill him, with one Elizabeth succeeding. As the Black Pearl crew seek an escape route, dead souls are seen floating by underwater. Tia Dolma reveals that Davy Jones was appointed by Calypso, goddess of the sea, and his lover, to ferry the dead to the next world. In return, Jones was allowed to step upon land for 1 day every 10 years to be with his love, but when she failed to meet him, the scorned captain abandoned his duty and transformed into a monster. Elizabeth sees her father, Governor Weatherby, Swann's Jonathan Pryce soul pass by in a boat. Murdered by Cutler Becket after Swann became suspicious about the heart. Swann reveals that whoever stabs Jones' heart becomes the Flying Dutchman's immortal captain. A distraught Elizabeth vows revenge. The Black Pearl remains trapped in the locker until Sparrow deciphers a clue on the map, realizing the ship must be capsized to return to the living world. The ship is overturned at sunset and upturns back into the living world as the sun rises. A green flash marks their return. The crew stop at a small island to restock supplies. They find the carcass of the Kraken, the beast having been killed by Jones on Becket's orders, where Jack realizes just how serious the threat to piracy's existence truly is. Further in, they are ambushed by Sao Feng, who reveals his secret agreement with Will. However, he betrays Will, having made another deal with Cutler Becket to hand over the crew and keep the Black Pearl. The Endeavour arrives and Sparrow is taken aboard, although he refuses to divulge to Becket where the Brethren Court will convene. Instead, Jack manufactures a deal to lead Becket to where the pirates will convene and lure them out for Becket to destroy in exchange for Becket protecting him from Jones. When Feng is double-crossed by Becket, Feng bargains with Barbassa to release the Pearl in exchange for Elizabeth, who he believes is Calypso trapped in human form. Feng attacks the Endeavour, allowing Jack to escape. Aboard his warship, the Empress, Feng tells Elizabeth that the First Brethren Court trapped Calypso into human form so men could rule the seas. Davy Jones attacks Feng's ship. The mortally wounded Feng appoints Elizabeth as the new captain and the pirate lord of the South China Sea. She and the crew are then imprisoned in the Flying Dutchman's brig. Also, aboard is Admiral James Norrington, Jack Davenport, who frees Elizabeth and her crew after regretting his prior actions. They escape to their ship, although Norrington is killed by Will's deranged father. Bootstrap, Bill Stellan Skarsgård, after discovering Norrington aiding Elizabeth and her crew's escape. Will leaves a trail of floating corpses for Becket's ship to follow. Jack catches Will and gives him his magical compass so Becket can find Shipwreck Cove. Jack then tosses him overboard. But Will is rescued by Becket's ship, and it is revealed that Davy Jones masterminded Calypso's imprisonment by the first pirate lords. At Shipwreck Island, the 9 pirate lords introduce themselves and present the 9 pieces of 8. When they are told the reason of the meeting, they disagree over freeing Calypso. Barbassa calls upon Captain Teague Sparrow Keith Richards, keeper of the Pirata Codex, and Jack's father, to confirm that only a pirate king can declare war. Elizabeth, newly ordained pirate lord of the South China Sea, is elected pirate king after Sparrow's vote for her breaks a stalemate. Each pirate lord only voted for themselves. She orders the pirates to go to war against Beckett. During a parley with Beckett and Jones, Elizabeth and Barbassa swap Sparrow for Will. Barbassa tricks the other pirate lords into yielding their pieces of 8 rank insignia, which he needs to free Calypso, who is bound in human form as Tia Dalma. As Barbassa releases her in a ritual, Will discloses that it was Davy Jones, her lover, who betrayed her to the Brethren Court. Her fury unleashes a violent maelstrom, just as the Navy's massive fleet appears on the horizon. During the battle, Sparrow escapes the Flying Dutchman's brig and steals the dead man's chest. Meanwhile, Davy Jones kills Mercer and obtains the key to the chest, which Jack then steals from Jones during a duel. The Black Pearl and the Flying Dutchman face off near the center of the massive maelstrom. Will proposes to Elizabeth, and Captain Barbassa marries them in the midst of battle. Will boards the Flying Dutchman to retrieve the chest but is mortally wounded by Davy Jones. As Bootstrap Bill attacks Jones, Sparrow, who wanted the heart for his own immortality, places his broken saber in Will's hand and helps him stab Jones' heart. Killing Jones, Jack and Elizabeth escape the Flying Dutchman as the crew carve out the dead Will's heart and places it into the dead man's chest. The ship disappears into the whirlpool. Beckett, never intending to honor his agreement with Jack, moves to attack the Black Pearl. The Dutchman suddenly resurfaces from the depths, with Will as the captain and the crewmen, now human. Will and Sparrow aim the Flying Dutchman and the Black Pearl at the Endeavour, destroying it and killing Beckett. The Armada retreats in disarray. Although Will has been saved and the Dutchman crew has regained their humanity, he is bound to sail the sea as the Dutchman's captain. Will and Elizabeth have one day together where they consummate their marriage on an island. Will departs at sunset, but first gives Elizabeth the dead man's chest for safekeeping. Shortly after, Barbassa again commandeers the Black Pearl, stranding Jack and Gibbs in Tortuga. Having anticipated Barbassa's deception, however, Sparrow has already removed the map's middle that leads to the Fountain of Youth. In a post-credits scene set 10 years later, Elizabeth and her and Will's 9-year-old son stand atop a sea cliff. A green flash fills the sky. The Flying Dutchman appears on the horizon with Will Turner aboard, sailing towards his family.